You've probably heard the term Web 3.0 recently, with lots of people talking about how it will revolutionize the web. In this video, we're going to cover what Web 3.0 is, why it's important, and how it relates to crypto. Welcome to Crypto Made Simple, the best place to learn everything you need to know about crypto. We make crypto simple. Web 3.0 is a name given to the next version of the internet, which has evolved a lot in the last few years from its humble beginnings in the mid to late 90s. As the name suggests, this is the third major update to the internet, and in this video, we'll be looking at how this compares to the previous versions as well as the benefits and potential pitfalls of this latest version. Web 3.0 is an umbrella term that refers to a lot of the advancements in modern internet technology and the various implementations that these could potentially be used for. It is based on several key principles which we will break down and look at in more detail. But at the heart of Web 3.0 is the integration between advanced AI and machine learning with an almost universal reach in terms of the devices that can both access it and feed data in real time, creating a uniquely tailored experience for each user. For example, in the past, most homes assessed the internet only through big bulky computers that sat in the corner of the room. Today, everything from mobile phones, televisions, refrigerators, and even cars have the ability to connect to the web. Web 1.0, sometimes known as the static web, was first introduced in the early 90s and can be summarized as a non-interactive web page that simply presents information to the user as is. The information on display was curated by a very small number of organizations and cannot be altered or changed in any way except by the original curators. In this regard, it can be thought of as more secure because it was less likely to be targeted in a cyber attack. But the information presented could soon be out of date because it was not updated in real time. It was also harder to navigate since search engines were still in their infancy and lacked the advanced algorithms that exist today, which allow for pages to be ranked based on their popularity or content. Around 2005, the web became more interactive thanks to advances in technologies like HTML5, JavaScript, and CSS. This allowed developers to create platforms where users could upload their own work, which made for a much more social experience. Websites like WordPress, YouTube, and Facebook flourished, with users being able to comment on and like posts by their friends, and over time, large communities formed based on shared interests and activities. Many of these platforms are still around to this day and allow content creators to not just get their work seen by an audience of millions, but also allows many of them to monetize their content and get paid for their work. This created a whole new industry of content creation, which led to the rise of bloggers, YouTubers, and social media influencers, an industry that is now considered to be a legitimate career path. Web 3.0 takes things a step further by introducing powerful artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning technologies that have the potential to learn, adapt, and optimize search results, as well as tailor the overall user experience. It also allows for the potential of greater online security and privacy thanks to its decentralized nature, which we'll talk about later on in this video. What Web 3.0 essentially means is that the power is being taken out of the hands of a few giant corporations and instead being spread out across a wide network of smaller, localized machines. You've probably heard of something called the blockchain, which will play a huge role in this decentralized network. We'll look at this in more detail later on. There are a number of key features that distinguish Web 3.0 from its predecessors. Let's break down these and look at each feature in more detail. One of the core features of Web 3.0 is the use of something called the semantic web, where computers are able to understand and communicate the emotion behind words and phrases beyond their literal meaning. Think of how people communicate with each other today, using hearts and other emojis that are almost universally understood, as well as memes, which are often exchanged between friends to get an idea across in a quick and humorous way. This new way of expressing ourselves online will, over time, be understood by computers and will be an essential part of how users interact in this new virtual space, increasing the emotional bond and therefore the relationships users have with each other using this new technology. The integration of AI and machine learning is also a fundamental feature of Web 3.0, and while it is currently being deployed to the current web, it will potentially be able to learn and filter content that is false or biased, like product reviews or fake news articles. The next key feature of Web 3.0 is the use of high-resolution 3D graphics, which will play an important role in creating the immersive experience that this technology is aiming for. Video games will be an obvious source for its deployment, but almost every single task, no matter how boring it might be, could be enhanced with this technology. Everything from shopping to virtual tours, and even concerts would undergo a huge shift in user engagement with this feature alone. Users could potentially visit real locations from the comfort of their own home or on their mobile devices and interact with them as if they were there. Developers could create entire worlds for entertainment purposes, and education and training could be taken to an entirely different level with virtual visits to offices, factories, and enhanced virtual meetings. Related to the semantic web feature we discussed earlier is the potential for universal and always-on web connectivity. With the huge number of internet-enabled devices already in circulation and more on the way, the amount of data being fed into the system and allowing it to learn and adapt, coupled with the easy access users will have to the web, the integration between our real lives and our virtual ones will get closer than ever before. Using a process called edge computing, data from these locations can be processed at or close to the source. What that means is that for any activity where data can be gathered, this can be used to optimize the experience for the user. Think, for example, health data from smartwatches and other wearables that could suggest a particular workout or meal, a smart meter switching off an appliance that isn't being used, or even a self-driving vehicle that reroutes itself following a traffic accident up ahead. Another core feature of Web 3.0 is the use of the blockchain. This is perhaps the single biggest feature behind Web 3.0. It allows for many of the new technologies we've discussed to be deployed and developed. It's essentially a vast network of decentralized computers, all performing thousands of digital transactions that the network checks and validates independently, and rewards users in the form of digital tokens of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. These digital tokens can be modified or unmodified, otherwise known as fungible or non-fungible. Fungible tokens can act as a form of digital currency. One Bitcoin in New York is worth the same as one Bitcoin in Sydney, whereas non-fungible tokens, otherwise known as NFTs, can be used as a unique identifier for either real or virtual assets. These assets can then be traded on various platforms, and the rights and ownership can easily and quickly be transferred between users without the need for a middleman, like a traditional bank. Currently, there are over 10,000 forms of cryptocurrencies in existence, although most of these are not very significant. In fact, only 20 of them make up the top 10% of the entire cryptocurrency market. As Web 3.0 matures and becomes fully established, it should become clear which digital currencies are the most valuable in terms of liquidity and overall acceptance, while crypto wallets and marketplaces are still fighting it out over first place. The decentralized nature of Web 3.0 takes the storage and maintenance of data away from large centralized corporations like Google and Facebook. As Web 2.0 grows, these companies saw the value in gathering as much user data as possible and using this information to target their ads at the people using their platforms. While this led to a more personalized experience for users, it also caused a lot of negative effects such as spam, data breaches, and other invasions of privacy. Companies have been found to gather information on the voting habits of users, what products they buy, and even selling their personal health information to insurance companies. In one highly publicized case, a father intercepted a coupon addressed to his daughter who was in high school. The coupon was for baby items, which the father found rather inappropriate. However, as it turned out, the girl was indeed expecting a baby, and what happened is that the retailer had predicted this based on the sale of certain lotions and supplements that she, along with many other expectant mothers, had been buying. This had led to a much greater focus on data privacy laws and getting users to consent before signing up for a service. But ultimately, all of this has damaged the trust between consumers and these large web corporations. Web 3.0 aims to put control back in the hands of every user connected to the network by making sure that the data is widely shared across different machines in different locations, making it harder to attack since there is no single weak spot to exploit. It also has the benefit of increasing user privacy by using highly secure cryptographic digital IDs and getting rid of the need for invasive marketing campaigns to collect sensitive user data. Let's review what we know about Web 3.0 so far. It is powered by cutting-edge artificial intelligence and machine learning, which will customize and adapt the internet experience for every unique user. It can interface with many other technologies and devices beyond just mobile phones and computers. In the case of the metaverse, these could include things like augmented reality and virtual reality headsets and glasses. It's potentially more private and secure because of its decentralized nature, meaning there's no single weak spot that can be exploited. But maybe the biggest change that Web 3.0 will bring about is introducing something called the metaverse to the wider public. The metaverse is an immersive virtual environment where users can interact with each other in a way that replicates the real world. People will be able to live in the metaverse through digital avatars and conduct transactions as they would in real life using cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, opening up a whole new digital economy that runs parallel to the real world. In addition to this, the metaverse will be an almost never-ending, infinite virtual space that is accessible through a variety of devices, and these devices, through a combination of machine learning and edge computing, are constantly feeding data to the environment, making it a much more personalized experience for the user. Despite having more privacy and security features than the current form of the web, because of its decentralized nature, Web 3.0 might become harder to police in terms of hate speech, fake news, and cybercrime. Websites can now potentially have content that is hosted or maintained by various systems around the world, making it harder to figure out which country's laws apply in terms of governance and regulation. That's all for today's video. Hopefully our Web 3.0 review has been helpful. If this video was useful and you'd like to know more, go check out other videos at Crypto Made Simple. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching.